And now a quick check on the two lineups. Liverpool's, of course, very familiar and experienced together. Since there was last a change in this team, they played 13 games, won 12, drawn 1. And the goals record is impressive too, scored 36 against only 5. Southampton, though, have problems. No David Peach in defence, he's had his knee immobilised in plaster. No Steve Williams in midfield, he had a stomach strain that kept him out of the early part of this week's training. But a bonus up front, the return of Charlie George after an absence of 11 games. It was George, incidentally, who scored the winning goal when Southampton beat Liverpool 3-2 at the Dell in September. The Southampton skipper, Alan Ball, no individual player with a better record of success at Anfield in the 70s. The first whistle from Nottinghamshire referee George Flint, and Southampton kick off attacking the Kop goal. Shannon to ball. Nicol to Watson. And Nicol back to Peter Wells. Wells preferred to Terry Geno in the Southampton goal since the beginning of November. Flick from Shannon's head that time. Clements out to collect. Hansen. Souness. Neil was making a run down the far right touchline. Ball lost by Case. Baker square, intercepted by Neil. Souness. Dalglish. Foul given against Nicol. McDermott will take this. Liverpool have just left Hansen back on the halfway line. Nicol's header, and it's another corner. Just a pale sunshine coming through the mist, providing a bit of colour in that goal mouth. Red shirts of Liverpool and the yellow of Southampton. Johnson got the header, thought he was in for a goal. Just put it wide. It's all left to the goalkeeper here, and Johnson had a clear header but was under a bit of pressure from behind. Knocked down was by Boyer, and McDermott profits from it. It'll be Watson's. Holmes losing out. Throw was the correct decision. McDermott to Ray Kennedy. Alan Kennedy had made the run, and as ball went to cover Alan Kennedy, Ray Kennedy was left free to shoot just above the angle. Ball taken right away from making the challenge. Kennedy with space and really not far off target. Back has found Liverpool a bit of space, and now they can go forward again. Ray Kennedy for Dalglish. So cool, but that time couldn't turn it for a Liverpool teammate. Souness. And here's Dalglish going in. I think he and the goalkeeper both took their eye off the ball, anticipating the collision. Cross was useful, and Dalglish went in on it. Goalkeeper came out, and I think they were both a bit aware of each other's presence. Ball. Got Holmes in. Watson. Looked like a rehearsed move and very effectively worked. All it lacked was Watson's ability to keep the ball below the crossbar. Ball will be looking all the time for ways to beat that Liverpool back four with a quick ball, probably over the top. It's a poor one. Boyer to George, releasing it quickly for Holmes. And pulled across where Shannon is coming, but Hansen made the contact. And that's the first Southampton corner. Nearly 11 minutes gone. But Holmes, sneaking in unseen down the left, has so far looked the biggest threat for Southampton. Shannon comes up to meet the corner, ball plays it immediately back in, it hit Ray Kennedy, and the red flood comes out. Souness. Souness again. Alan Kennedy's cross, Dalglish's control and turn! Nicol was probably expecting him to go back the other way, as he has on 2 or 3 occasions previously, and this time it was just a quick flick up and shot, beat the angle once again. Alan Kennedy, George, McDermott, beautifully done on the move and on the turn. Now it's Dalglish, Johnson, Dermott. Testing angle ball. Johnson didn't look anything there, and suddenly the ball was heading for the corner of the net. Alan Kennedy, and a marvellous save by Wells. Alan Kennedy throws his head in the air. He hasn't scored this season. He really can't have come much closer than he did with this shot. Boyer, George, Shannon and ball. Shannon. George! Typical Charlie George. Just 18 inches of backlift, if that. Swiftly laid off to him. Look at that, scarcely picked his foot up. Kennedy. Baker. Looking for Boyer. Boyer turns and scores! 1-0. Phil Boyer, with his first strike at goal, scores his first away goal in the league for 13 months. Baker's cross drops off Boyer's chest, swivels and hits it out of Ray Clemence's reach in off the post. So that is a setback for Liverpool right on the half hour. Phil Boyer, who hadn't scored away in a league game since he scored at Main Road in December 78. (1-0) to Southampton. Souness, Thompson, Johnson. Past ball, past Golak. And Ray Kennedy's shot, fisted over very well indeed by Peter Wells. Superbly worked. Started with a very good run by Johnson, and then in came Kennedy for the shot, and Wells with the wrong hand turned it over. Kennedy finds Hansen. Dalglish was offside. Even then, Wells was not going to see that ball in his net. Does now, but it doesn't count. Lofted over here, and Dalglish was offside as Hansen helped it through. Still, there was a flung up left hand from Wells. Bad run from Neil again. Watson met it and didn't use it, but Southampton still seeking a way forward. Now they'll have to go back because Kennedy will kick, Clemence will kick long. Not on by Johnson to Dalglish. Johnson again, Ray Kennedy ahead of him. McDermott in the middle. It'll touch back to Johnson. Johnson didn't mean it, and the very fact of that, I think, disconcerted Wells. beautiful build-up, a lot of improvisation in it. It's a flick back there from McDermott, and Johnson found it coming onto his foot, and that surprised Wells. Foot. Case. McDermott. Case. Ball. Durack. Neil. McDermott. Neil again to McDermott. Good exchange of passes, and that's a teasing cross, and what a very good catch Wells made from it. I think McDermott thought there that he must have put one out of the keeper's reach. Lovely build-up down the right, and McDermott now given room for the cross, which he plays early, and it must have been 8 paces before Wells launched himself to make the catch. Hansen. Kennedy. Turned and crossed well, meant to go through to Case, but Waldron got in the way. Boyer. Danger here on the break. Shannon is onside. Charlie George is over on this side. Waldron is coming in support. Boyer is there. Holmes was going in, but Thompson has it under control, and Clements picks up. And throws straight to Baker. Robbed though by Ray Kennedy. Souness. That's a good ball. Johnson. Southampton stretched, but now back and organised. Oh, but what a lovely ball! And that must be a penalty. Durack on Dalglish. The penalty really earned by that beautiful ball in. Right into Dalglish's path. Golak the wrong side of him, brings him down. Protests from Southampton, but I really don't think there can be many grounds for them. So with half an hour of the game to go, a chance for Liverpool to draw level through Terry McDermott. Wells, who has played so well, now faces his biggest test of the game. The cop behind him, also behind him the confidence of some very fine saves indeed in this game, but against him, Terry McDermott. Terry McDermott, full of confidence from the spot, drove it hard, sent the keeper the wrong way. It's 1-1. And a blow to Southampton, who, having got their noses in front, were clearly looking to sit on the lead, maybe add to it on the break. But basically I think we're relying on their experience to close down Liverpool's attacks. Suddenly found themselves exposed. Well, it's been a very good game so far, and we could be in now for an enthralling last half hour. 46,500, another big gate at Anfield, enthralled by a very good match indeed. Souness. Hansen. Up there towards Ray Kennedy. Souness taking it from Johnson, transferring it to Neil. McDermott to Neil. Johnson to Neil. And McDermott! Oh, what a goal that would have been! The way they kept bouncing them off Johnson, and suddenly it was McDermott who'd sneaked in at the back. Neil here, and Johnson the pivot of the move. McDermott to Johnson. Neil then finds McDermott, who'd gone sneaking in, couldn't quite curl it round Wells. The crowd now anxious that Southampton shall get on with it. Obviously that would be a Liverpool view, but I think that the uncommitted spectator who's enjoyed the play of both sides in this game would also want it to maintain its standards. Ball, Golak, Baker. Just a foot there by Hansen was enough. Alan Kennedy. Golak stopped him. Doesn't stop Liverpool. Souness coming through and then fouled by Baker. Baker put his shoulder into Souness and Souness reacted by pulling him back. Hansen. Johnson jumped early. Souness. Kennedy. Ray Kennedy, this is. Easily read and cut out by Boyer. Tried to spring an early one for Shannon, who's still chasing it. Hansen, so often seeming languid in his play, but deceptive with the pace at which he covers the ground. Dermot. Case. Holmes. He's got in free here. Pulled it back for Shannon. Shannon dummied and was never allowed the chance to shoot. Looked as though he'd pulled off a beauty there. Now, problems maybe at the other end. Golak fouled by Johnson. So that'll give us a chance to have another look at that effort by Shannon, how well he extricated himself, but then when he wanted the shot, Souness thwarted him. George beaten in the air by Hansen. Golak forward for Southampton. Thompson. George. Offside surely, Boyer, yes. George having words with Mr. Flint, so to his ball, but I think the linesman was a little bit slow putting his flag up there, but Mr. Flint was well placed, and no doubt in my mind that they made the right decision. Alan Kennedy, corner. Liverpool's 9th corner of the game in the last 2 or 3 minutes. There's some pushing and a free kick given to Southampton. And now ball is spoken once too often and Mr. Flint produces a yellow card. Pity that should mar an otherwise excellent game. Bob Paisley, who before the game received a Manager of the Month award, the 8th time he'd been given one, also been Manager of the Year 3 times. Chairman, Mr. John Smith on his right there. And there was a clear claim there for a penalty for a foul on Dalglish. Mr. Flint unsympathetic. Game restarting now in injury time. Johnson. Alan Kennedy. Dermot down, but it down only to Boyer. Boyer too hard. Hansen's header off for Thompson. Dalglish. Nicol, McDermott, in ball. Thompson. Neil. McDermott. And the final whistle. So Liverpool remain undefeated since the beginning of October, but a sequence of 8 successive victories comes to an end. Some whistles and boos from the crowd, but by and large a game in which the two teams matched skills and showed their respect for each other in a splendid contest.